Hey guys, Blake here, and today I'm taking a look at Capone, a game for 2 to 5 players that uses blind auctions and card drafting set in the world of prohibition and speakeasies. And if you stick around, I'm going to explain to you why I think Capone either belongs on your shelf or needs to go swimming with the fishes. In Capone, each player takes on the role of the owner of a speakeasy who needs to provide the drinks that their thirsty patrons desire. It's a competitive game for 2 to 5 players. To set the game up, each player takes a speakeasy. Each speakeasy has a unique character and a unique power or specialty, so to speak. You'll take 20 money and you will add 4 beverages that are your speakeasy's specialty beverages. There's 4 different types of beverages in the game. You also will load the truck up with 4 random bottles per player. So in a 3-player game, you would have 12 random bottles. In a 4-player game, you would have 16 random bottles, etc. The game takes place over a couple different rounds and a couple different phases. So you start by filling the truck with the random different drinks, and then you will deal out the client cards. So each player in the first round would get 3 random client cards, and client cards will show you the kind of drink the client is looking for, how much they will pay you for that, and the in-game bonus you'll get for having X number of the same type of client. So you start by taking one, then passing the others to the left, taking one, passing the others to the left, and then taking the final one. And then you'll store those customers behind your speakeasy. Next, you'll do your truck auction. So every player starts the game with 20 monies, and money in this game is both your currency to do things, but it's also your in-game scoring method. It's all about who has the most money in the end. But each player is going to bid on control of this truck. You're going to take your money behind your screen, and you are going to decide how much you want to bid. Once you have decided, you are locked in, you'll take your little, this isn't the one for this guy, but you'll take your little meeple and put it out front to say, I'm ready to bid. All players will reveal, and the player who has bid the highest will gain control of the truck. If 2 players have an equivalent bid, then it goes to the next highest player. Only the player who wins the bid has to actually spend the money. All the other players get their money back. And so then what happens? You get your truck and you get to unload all the different drinks into your speakeasy. Now this is where the fun really begins, the open trading aspect. Now, as the owner of all of this booze, you're gonna want to actually trade with other players to unload some of it, because once all of the trading has ended, Capone is going to come and visit these speakeasies, and I'll explain that in a second. During open trading, there are really no rules. You can trade drinks for drinks, you can trade money for drinks, you can even trade your clients for drinks. It's whatever you think you can get to try and get the drinks that you want. And the reason why trading is really important in this game is because once all players are done trading, if any player has more than 10 bottles in their storefront, Capone is going to come and visit and wipe out their entire storefront. So you might be thinking, well, that sounds like a nice punishment for them getting all that to begin with, is I'm just not going to trade with them. Well, the problem is the player who gets wiped out by Capone, if any player gets wiped out by Capone, gets to flip the Capone coin. And on heads, so to speak, all other players would lose half of their money, and on the other side, all other players would lose half of their bottles. So once all the trading is over and Capone has visited, now you get to wet the whistle of your thirsty customers. And it's as simple as saying, oh, okay, this bootlegger requires a rye and a gin, so I'll take a rye and a gin and serve them, and then I would get paid 5 coins for serving them a drink. Now additionally, each speakeasy has its own specialty. So this one's is vodka. So if I had served this patron a drink with vodka, I would get an additional coin. And once everyone has served all of their clients that they can, that ends the round and you do it all over again.
Like the different colored bottles, so you didn't necessarily have to read what you had, you just knew it by color. And then the artwork, it's a kind of cartoony, but it gives you that old-timey feel, which matches the building, kind of the whole layout. So good aesthetics, good component.
Yeah. In some games you kind of don't know where to start, but in this one, like, you kind of have a goal of like bonuses, so everyone has a specialty. So, you know, you kind of can try to get points that way, or you can do set bonuses. So, like, the game gives you some direction without, like, telling you, like, this is the one way to win.
Whoever gets the bid for the whole truck, they get to sell it to other people at a premium, or at the very end, if you still have a ton of inventory left, then you have to be able to just get rid of it at a very low price. Supply and demand.
It's crazy how the price fluctuates too. Like,
Yeah.
I literally had to give stuff away at the end of my truck, and then
So people were
before
paying
I'm
like 5 for one.
You can put a ton per bottle.
Yeah.
It's really hard to plan it, even for the next round, because you don't know what's going to happen, and you don't know what cards you get, and you still have, I don't know, like 2 cards that you need to get rid of.
So you're kind of getting lucky anyway because you can't
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
One of the things that was supposed to be limiting that we never saw was Capone. The crazy part is, like, I thought it would happen, and as soon as we played one round, I was like, it's not going to happen. Because you would have to subconsciously, everybody would have to agree, like, we need to screw this person and get them the full truck. So we all need to screw ourselves and in turn really screw this one person.
Okay, so I would give this game a 6 just because the components are really pretty. I really like the art style. I feel like it's really easy to learn, so if you want to play with people that don't really play board games that often, you can play that multiple times.
I would also give this game a 6, but for like different reasons. I think the game itself, like the components and everything are really good, like it's very well made, but would I pay $50 for this game again now that I've played it? I don't know if I would. Like, it's good to play once or twice, but it's not something that I would be excited to play again. So I think that's where it would land for me.
I would go 6 with the aesthetic. I mean, it's catchy. Like, look at the little truck that you're picking up the stuff off of, the money I mentioned earlier. So 6 for that, but the main component of the actual game, mechanic-wise, is the market. I give that 2. It's kind of on the lower end of markets I've seen where you're bidding for stuff. I didn't like it. I'm gonna give it a 4 overall.
So, what can I say? I really had high hopes for Capone, and let me start off with the positive. I think the components are fantastic to look at. I think they put a lot of thought and energy into the design of the game. This is the kind of game that if I saw it sitting on a table, I would want to know what it is and how it plays, but that's really where it kind of pauses for me. I think the gameplay is fine. It's okay, but I do think it straddles the line of not being funny enough or silly enough or fast-paced enough for me to consider this a party game that I would want to introduce to everyone I know, whether they play games or not. And it feels like it's missing a thing or two to make it really appealing to folks who know games and who maybe enjoy auction games. And maybe my group of friends, we just weren't in the right headspace, you know what I'm saying, to really enjoy this game. But I feel like, if anything, it's definitely not a 2 p.m. kind of a game. It's a 10 p.m. kind of a game where folks are relaxing and just not taking things too seriously. I don't know. I think there were some things that just, it didn't work with our group. I feel like we never really used the Capone feature of the game because we all were just so focused on serving our clients and keeping our money that it didn't seem like the greatest strategy to try and force Capone to visit a player by not taking any of their bottles. The trading aspect as well felt a little flat. It just kind of, you know, became a rush of, well, I'll give you 2 for this, or I'll give you 3, or I'll give you 4. And again, it just was straddling the line of, you know, how serious or how silly does this game want to take itself? And we definitely didn't take it seriously, but again, it just was kind of missing the best of both worlds. I do think it's interesting that on the box the game says 14 and up, and so it would be funny to me to see a 14-year-old managing a speakeasy and handing out drinks, but I'm not a parent. So maybe this game would work for your entire family, but I think that also could be a limitation. Just the subject matter of passing out drinks to patrons isn't going to appeal to everyone. I do think they could easily make this game into a Capone Jr., where instead of running a speakeasy, you're running a lemonade stand or something like that and passing out different types of lemonade. But I don't have much else to say for this game. I think it is one that I'm not giving up on completely. I do want to get it to the table another time or two with some different people and see if, you know, the energy is different or the strategies are different. But for now, I have to kind of be fair with my score and what I thought of the game. And for me, it's about a 6.5 out of 10. And a large percentage of those points go to the design and the theme and the atmosphere that the game creates. Because the gameplay itself, I don't know how else to say it. It wasn't very exciting. It wasn't very comedic. It wasn't very anything. It was just kind of average. So I'm not sure that Capone should be at the bottom of the ocean, but I also don't know if you're a lover of auction games where this one's going to sit for you. Like I said, for me, it's a 6.5, but for you, it might be a little higher or it might be a little lower. So those are my thoughts for Capone. If you love auction games, write below what your favorite one is, and maybe I'll check that one out. But thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.